It feels like home, home, home. It feels like home, home, home. It feels like home.
Hey there, welcome to Weldon Home. This morning I wanted to show you how I make a Nutella chocolate sourdough wreath, and it is an excellent Christmas presentation for your family or to give away to friends, and it's super simple to do. I want to show you how I do it with a no stretch, no fold sourdough recipe, and it is foolproof. So first I'm going to start with some bubbly active starter. It's already bubbly and looking good, so I'm just going to grab a cup of that and put that into my mixing bowl. I'm getting kind of low on my starter. I'm gonna need to make a little bit more. There we go. That's good. And then I need a cup of warm water. So I'm just gonna run over to the sink and grab a cup of warm water in this same cup. You want it good and warm. It will help everything to activate more quickly. So a cup of warm water in like that. As I've said before, I don't like to measure honey in any kind of container. So I'm just gonna go, that's one, and there's two, and that's good. And now I'm going to mix that around with my fork. And to that, I'm going to add 4 tablespoons of hot Ristretto coffee. So I just get that to come together, letting that set up for a moment. And I have been brewing some Ristretto in my little Nespresso. Isn't this the cutest little cup? It says, however you try to drink me up, there's always a swallow left in the cup, and it has a little swallow bird that is on the edge of that. So it's just a really cute little old cup. All right, so you're going to need 4 tablespoons of hot Ristretto coffee right into that liquid mixture. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's pretty close to just 4 ounces actually. And now I'm gonna go get 4 cups of bread flour. It's important to use bread flour because it's higher in protein. I'll be right back. So I got my bread flour from down the hall, and now I know I usually don't like to mix things, but in the South, we get really, really clumpy things like cocoa powder and baking soda and those sorts of things. So I am going to go ahead and use this little sifter to get in my cocoa powder. So I'm going to use 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder for this recipe. 1, see, it doesn't even want to come out. There we go. So I'll just sift that in along with 2 teaspoons of salt. And while I'm here, I will probably go ahead and feed my sourdough starter too. So there's 1 and 2. And I'll just sift that in to get out all of the little bits that want to stick together. That actually wasn't too bad. So I'll leave that there. And now I'll go back with my fork and just mix that all in. Till it gets pretty shaggy looking. And again, I'm just gonna let the mixer do all the hard, heavy work. I just get it to about where it looks like it's gonna get picked up by the hook. And what we wanna see is the hook get this all together so that there's nothing stuck on the sides or the bottom of this bowl. In the meantime, I'm just gonna feed my sourdough starter with 1 cup of water and 1 cup of flour and give that a good mix. You can scrape down these sides, or if it's getting a little bit too mucky on the edge for you, you can transfer it out to a different container. I sometimes do that, and then I just put it back in this container when it gets too crazy on these edges. But you can scrape that all down, it's still all fine and good. Just helps with the ferment. And you can see all my bubbles, even though this is cold still from the fridge, it's still bubbly and active, ready to be used for anything. We're just letting that come together over on the side in the KitchenAid. And come take a look at that. It's already starting to pick itself up, but it does look like it might need a little bit more water. So I'm gonna get some ready to go. Just a hair more water, and I mean like the tiniest little, like quarter teaspoon to start off with. You don't want it too wet. We just want it to be able to pick up that last little bit that's in the bottom of the bowl. See, it's starting to pick that up now, and it will incorporate it all together. Look at that, it's gonna clean itself for us. It does every bit of the work. Did you see how shaggy that was? And now all of a sudden, it's looking like a lump of dough. That's what you want. We want it even smoother than that though, so I'm gonna let it go for another few minutes and show you what that looks like before I cover it up. So that's looking pretty good. See how that cleaned its own bowl? Now I'm gonna go ahead and take it out, if I can with one hand. There we go. And now I'll just remove it from the dough hook, again with one hand if I can. Nope, I'm gonna have to do that with two hands. Hang on. You can see how I write my recipe. Yeah, you can pick it up. Go for it. So I'm just gonna form that into a little ball. And then I'll put it back down into its already clean bowl. And I'll cover that with some saran wrap and let it rest for, ideally you like to do this overnight, but I'm gonna do this until this evening, and then I will reposition and show you what that looks like too. Okay, so I have the dough and it's been rising all day and it's getting really late at night. I'm sorry it's dark out, but I did want to show you how I form this into a roll that is going to be useful for making that wreath. I'm going to use a rolling pin to just get all of this air out because it's really been sitting a long time. We had a bunch of girls over for dinner tonight and just had a busy day, so it got a little bit later than I wanted it to, but we're gonna get this all filled with some Nutella and just show you what I mean. This is so easy, you won't believe it. And you can, and I have added chocolate chips to the dough, and that works really well too. I didn't do that this time just because I kind of forgot to put the chocolate chips in the dough, but it's gonna be great even without the chocolate chips. All right, so you just wanna make sure that you can easily get your dough up off of whatever surface it's on. And then we're gonna go ahead, trying to get as big a rectangle as I can so we get the maximum amount of Nutella in there. Because what good is Nutella bread without lots of Nutella? So I'm gonna just take maybe a couple of tablespoons of butter, just really quick. You can leave the butter out, but why would you do that? So just a little bit of butter. I'm gonna make sure that I got most of that off. And then I will use the Nutella and just get some of that in there. So you just want a nice thin coating of Nutella. And if you wanted to add chocolate chips at this point, you could do that too. We're just gonna roll this up just like you would with cinnamon rolls. If you've made cinnamon rolls, this will look very familiar. Excuse me, I've got a frog in my throat. It's just because it's so late. So I'm just rolling that up just like a cinnamon roll. And you want to just seal your edges about like that. Sorry, my dishwasher's running and my dog is running around and people are squeaking doors, but this is just how life is. So now what I'm gonna do is turn this like that. And I have a very sharp Cutco knife, and I'm just gonna cut gonna make that as long and nice as I can. I'm gonna make this cut, I'm gonna leave about 1.5 inches at the top and cut it lengthwise like this. And then I'm going to fold those edges up like this. And then I'm just gonna go one side over the other. And then one side over the other. And then one side over the other until I get it like that. It's not really a braid, it's much more of a little twist. And then I've got my greased pan right here. And I'm just gonna try and get those ends to come around and fold over so that it looks something like that. I'm gonna let that raise, and I'm just gonna let it go overnight, which is longer than I have let it go before, but I think it'll be fine. So good morning. I got the sourdough out of the oven. It's still warm, but it's gonna come out and be beautiful. You can see we've got an excellent rise on it. And I'm just gonna transfer it over to this little pan here and show you how I would serve it up if I was gonna give it away, but we're actually gonna eat this one tonight for our dessert. So I'll just show you what I would do, which is put a little bit of powdered sugar over the top. Just give it a little dusting like that. Make a little mess everywhere, but you know, making it snow makes a mess. And then if I was gonna give this away, I would probably try and put it in something like a cellophane and then wrap it with a beautiful bow or something. But like I said, and I save these, if I have an Easter basket, I save these up in the attic and I keep them for just such an event. So you want to hold on to things like this. They're valuable and useful to use again and to give away as gifts. But there you can see the lovely sourdough loaf that we made overnight, and it is tasty and delicious. Chocolate Nutella sourdough. You should give it a try. It's a beautiful wreath to give away. It's a beautiful thing to serve, and it's tasty and delicious. I think you'll love it.